Good morning, everyone. Good morning. So early in the morning. Shyamala, thanks for joining us again. And this is our Voice Chat Fridays with Shyamala Prayaga. And she is, if you don't know her, she is the head of Ford's autonomous conversational AI design capability. She is also the founder of the Digital Assistant Academy, which helps train people for the voice profession. So we've got a bunch of questions already this morning, so we'll let people catch up here for a second. Shyamala, how you doing?
I'm doing good, Lee. How are you?
I'm good. You had this really cool thing the other day. I've never been on it before. It was called Crowd. What was it called? Crowd?
Voice Den.
The Voice Den. Yeah, if you guys haven't joined that, I would highly recommend checking that out. It's by Dr.
Terry Fisher.
Terry Fisher. I'm sorry, Tim. Right. So Dr. Terry Fisher runs this Voice Den. What's the tool that he used? I know it's been out there for a while. Crowd something or other?
Crowdcast.
Yes, of course it is. Crowdcast. So as you can see, the reason that these Voice Chat Fridays are so helpful is because when you've got the lowest denominator in the room asking the questions, they can't help but be informative and helpful. So let's get started right away. Welcome to all of those who are back there. I can't see names for some reason right now. But we've got a list of questions here. So let's get started. The first question is, Shyamala, what is the difference between digital versus voice?
So when you say digital, it could be, your touch screen or a website or a mobile application or any such things, right? So for example, if you want to listen to music, you have a mobile application, you can use that to play music. But with voice, the modality is completely changing. The input is voice, the output is voice. Everything is happening through a completely different modality. So when you want to listen to music through voice, you will not press a button, you will not search through things or any such things. But what you would do is ask through your voice, like, I'm sad, I want to listen to music, or play Michael Jackson, or anything. You can say in whatever way. So that is one difference. The second difference with digital and voice is digital is very linear. You can have 1, 2, or 3 steps. That's it. You can either search for a music, or you can browse through a music, or you can go through maybe some recommendation list and play your music. But the end goal for you is playing music.
Got it.
With voice, it's completely different because it can go in any direction. Like, you may start with browsing and all of a sudden you want to do completely different thing.
Got it. And so it's kind of like you either have a keyboard or you don't. So digital is keyboard driven also, right? That's the only way to interact with that, or touch screen, or?
Yeah, digital is keyboard driven and touch screen, right? But nowadays, if you see, voice also has 2 parts to it. One is voice first and the other is voice multimodal, right? So if you're talking about voice first, like smart speakers like Alexa, or I have to turn them off before they start talking or yelling. So so if it is Alexa or Mr. G, then you have to for those small pucks, you have to just speak in the voice, and you get response back in the voice. If you talk about multimodal, then it's a combination, like voice and touch. So you can still have digital with voice. For example, Siri is an excellent example, right? You can ask Siri to do things through voice and see something on the screen as well. So there's a combination of things you can do with voice and multimodal that way, and you are able to interact with it through voice, and then use your touch screen as well to make selections. So this, combination of things you can do. But basically, the whole reason is it's very difficult for someone to type. Imagine, the small screens which we have. If you have to type with one finger, if your other finger is busy, it's too difficult. And especially with my fat fingers, my son keeps laughing and making fun of, if I want to type something and I type the other thing, and he's like, okay, you were typing this. I'm like, I know, my fat fingers. I cannot help it. But imagine, if my hand was busy, I just have one hand and I want to talk, I can simply just say, do this, search this. I'm one of my neighbors, she's so heavily immersed in like voice dictations. She's not typing anymore. She just uses her voice.
I found that has not been very accurate. like when it transcribes, it doesn't put in it. You know, when you use your phone and you speak your text messaging, that it misses punctuation, it misses things of that nature. So is that going to improve over time? Do you think?
It will improve over time. See, everything takes time. We have come a long way, especially with natural language understanding, and especially with dictations and voice technology in general, the speech recognition technology, the text to speech engines, and everything. We have come a long way, and of course, we have a further long way to go.
Yeah.
We will be there. Right now what happens is, any pause which I make, it's not able to interpret that maybe I'm trying to say add a comma, or if there's a longer pause, I'm saying there has to be a full stop. So these engines are not yet capable to do that, but I'm very confident that we will be there one day and pretty soon.
Well, what's interesting though is that when you look at closed caption, though, and Saluka, thank you for joining us this morning. I will get to your question in just a moment. That actually is the latter part of the questions for this call. So hang in there with us. So that's interesting though. When I look at closed caption, right, closed captioning services, they put in periods, they put in, time. I mean, that's voice activated, right?
That is also, yeah. So transcription services are much advanced these days, and see, every engine is different. So depending on which recognition engine you are using, it will be completely different. Now there are other engines out there, like, I know one engine which is so accurate, and it is able to strip the background noise as well, and then make sense out of it. So companies are working towards that. So there are transcription services who are able to interpret those things as well. So I would say it's possible, and we are there, like I mentioned. The only thing is, these companies needs to start training their data more and more for such kind of things.
Uh, okay. And for that, you need more people to be able to do that, right? I mean,
Yeah, of course. When you say
that's a
data,
whole,
it's
yeah,
million and millions.
yeah, that's a whole other kind of thing. So let's stick with finishing the technology questions, and then we'll go into Saluka's questions about, the foundation for the field and getting involved. So what's the difference between bots versus a voice?
So technically speaking, bot is anything which is able to help you in a robotic way. So, for example, if you want to get answers to something, some question, or you want to get something done, we call it a robot, right? Now, the difference between a bot and voice is also a bot. If you say Alexa or Siri or Google, they are also a bot, but they are voice bot. They are not chat bot. So what I would say, the biggest difference between a chat bot and a voice bot is, chat, the primary modality is just your phone system or a screen through which you are chatting. Input is in the form of typing, and output is also text, right? And in the chat bots, natural language understanding is very important. So there are two types of chatbots. You would find one chatbot where you have a set of buttons and everything is predefined. You just have to press and click and all do all of those things. Those are not natural language based system. Those are again like your website, where you have just created a button, a couple of hotspots and buttons and answers for those kind of things. But if you are really talking about a natural language bot, where if you say what is the weather or do I need an umbrella, it understands, then those kind of chatbots need natural language understanding in it
Got
order to understand what you're saying and interpret that thing. Whereas with voice is the entire modality is through voice, right? Like input is voice, output is voice, and everything is voice. So you need many more engines in order to interpret that. So it's not just natural language understanding, you also need a speech recognition engine or system which completely transcribes what you said into a machine readable format from the audio which has been generated. And then the natural language would completely interpret the intent of your request, and the text to speech engine would take the response back, convert it into a machine readable format, human understood format, and then play back. So there are many more engines and a lot more complexity with voice that way. So and like I mentioned, there could be multimodal interfaces as well in a voice assistant. So you can do it, but from the use case standpoint, pretty much you can do the same kind of things with a chatbot versus a voice bot. Chatbots are usually used more often for customer care kind of things or concierge related things, like, hey, can you book me a ticket, where the cognitive load is not a big issue because you are able to see things on the screen. And voice is used for tasks where the cognitive load could be higher and lower. I mean, you don't want to, of course, overload the user with too much information at once. So something where you can provide the information in easy chunks, reading emails or scheduling a meeting or playing music or getting some information or news briefing or flash briefing or climate controls, or just your at home controls like thermostat and change the temperature, turn off the light, these kind of things. So the people prefer these voice assistants for such tasks. Chatbots are used for, can you book me a ticket to Miami or Florida, or like, can you order flowers for me, and things like that. Because imagine if you can do those kind of things even through voice. You can ask, like, can you order me flowers, right? But if you are doing that through voice, well, you are not able to see the flowers visually, so you are just imagining, like, what flowers are we talking about here. I'm not able to see anything. I don't know what combo you're talking about when you say lilies, red lilies, or blue ferns, or something like that. I hardly know what you're talking about because I'm not able to visualize that. So it's difficult. So you cannot do voice only for those kind of things. And you have to think about multimodal. So depending on the context, some use cases might be different.
So chatbots, I just want to make sure that we're all clear on this. The key difference between chatbots and so
Voice.
chatbots are, yeah, but chatbots are really all about, they were invented to improve customer experience, customer service, so that people could get answers faster, right? Is that, and not having to wait on the phone for forever and a day. But we always wind up calling customer service anyway, right? So I know that that's been my experience, that the chatbot is often more frustrating than anything else, right? So how is that going to be improving over time?
So see, the biggest thing I would say is, yeah, chatbots are used for customer experience, or resolving customer queries. Uh, the the first and foremost thing is, any kind of bot, it's like a IVR system also. If you look, it's a voice based system, right? So it's the same issue which you are having, because it doesn't understand some of the things you're saying, or there's lag in the system, there are issues. So technology is evolving, it has to evolve further, first of all, right? So in order to make the experience better for the user, we need to first of all understand the different kind of users who would be interacting with our customer care bot, and then based of that create the experience. Right now what's happening is we are creating a one size fit all kind of bot experience, and
Yeah,
that is the biggest challenge,
yeah,
where we are struggling with.
okay,
Again, the same thing with voice related bots as well, like IVR systems. They are all very fixed menu based kind of system, and it frustrates the user. We need to make it more natural, we need to make it more human centric, and that's where the industry is heading.
yeah. All right, now here's, it's interesting because I don't remember who I heard this from, but when I said conversational AI design, the individual said, well, voice is not conversational AI. It's not AI. And so I'm like, do I not know what AI is anymore? I thought I knew what AI was, but so help me understand where the disconnect is happening.
AI is broad, huge. when you talk about artificial intelligence, think about self-driving cars, right? Perfect example of how artificial intelligence and machine learning is being used to recognize patterns and differentiating between a human versus a trash can when the car is driving on the road, and being able to know like where they have to take the turns, and like simulating the entire road and everything. So artificial intelligence is very, 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 very big when it comes to such things. It requires a lot of machine learning data and stuffs like that. Conversational AI, or voice based AI, which is again conversational, is AI, but it is a very small, I would say, like a very small part of the overall artificial intelligence, spectrum which we have. Because if you're talking about chatbots, right, you are just using the natural language understanding piece. You are still using natural language. You are still creating, some sort of data around it. These are the 10 different ways the user can ask for the same information and map it to the intent and then understand and stuffs like that. With voice, there may be a little bit more because you have the entire interpretation of your speech recognition module and all, right? But then it's very small as compared to the overall spectrum of what AI is capable of doing. AI is capable of doing a lot more nowadays. Just based off my, there was this smart bowel commode which was designed, like based on the color of the pee it can tell what kind of disease the person has.
That's crazy.
So AI is capable of doing a lot more than what conversational AI is. And that is why if someone says that conversational AI is not AI, yeah, it is not the bigger artificial intelligence what we are talking about, but it is a very small piece of the overall AI.
It relies on
It
artificial
relies on, it relies
intelligence.
on it. It
Yeah,
still needs to have the natural language understanding, which is part of the artificial intelligence. You still need to have some of the machine learning algorithms or some of the machine learning concepts in place. You still have to have some sort of bag of words and stuffs like that in order to understand, like when someone says weather jacket, raincoat, all of those, they mean they are talking about weather. So you have to still create those kind of language models and semantic models. But uh, in the bigger spectrum of AI, it's very minute.
got it. Okay, so we're going to switch gears and we're going to talk about careers because we have our first career question from Saluka. Good morning. What is a must to create good foundations in this field? So, what I think of I think what she's trying to say is, what do I need to enter the field? Um, before I even consider about to apply for a job. What are those? What are those things?
So first and foremost, is like I mentioned earlier also, if you want to enter into the conversational design field, you need to be able to understand how the technology works. Because uh, as a UX designer, also, you are always asked that you should know how the technology works. So if you know how the technology works, it becomes really beneficial uh, in first place to understand, like, okay, how will I design a solution around this, and you're not really shooting for a moonshot which will not be possible. So in order for you to design the best customer experience or best user experience for your voice applications, you need to have that. The second thing is you need to know the basics of conversation design, like what is an intent, what is a slot, what is the utterances, how all of these things work together. So it's not just the technology like ASR, NLP, TTS, and all of those things, but you are also thinking about the key terminologies which are really important in conversation design, not just from the implementation standpoint, but also the good principles of conversation design. Like when we two humans speak, we have some sort of like goal. We have some sort of transaction. You are asking me a question, I'm giving you the answer. People are getting something out of it. There's a transaction happening, there's a goal. And there may be some follow-ups in between. When we are talking, if I don't understand something, I would ask you clarifying questions, and vice versa. So conversation has a lot more things than just, like, what is the weather? The weather is rainy. Tons of things can go wrong with conversation and conversation design in general. So being able to understand those things, having a better understanding of all those different things which can go wrong, no recognition, misrecognition, or disambiguations, all of these terms, all of these concepts are really important. So if you know those things, then basically, you are ready to get started. And of course, you will have to do a lot of things, right? You will have to make sure you are testing different applications to see what interactions they have, how they are working, so that you get a feel of things. It's like benchmarking. When you are doing any kind of UX design, you are benchmarking against other competitors, what they are doing, what their shortfall is, and all of those things. Same kind of things you have to do here. You need to be able to, first of all, understand and benchmark other applications to see what's happening. So constantly keep doing, and it will help you improve your voice skills, or skills to become a conversational designer. And you talk to any voice expert, and they would say, like, test out the application, build your own application, try to create your small bars, and you would start seeing, how everything works. Theoretically, all of these things are fine until you get your hands dirty. You would not get anything. So these are the key foundations. Try out things, make your own bars.
Okay, I'm going to have to try this, right? This could be scary. What do you need to create your own bot? Like what technology do you have to have?
There are a lot of great platforms available out there which you can use. If you want to create voice-based bots, so you can use either Alexa's AVS system, Alexa voice services, and Alexa skill kit, and create something. If you are trying to create something for Google, you can use the dialog flow system and create. So these tools are more developer focused kind of thing, but you are still able to do things. There are a lot of other conversational AI platforms now, that Botmock, Bot Society, VoiceFlow, Rasa. So you can use these platforms. In fact, there's one more called Orbita, which focuses mainly on healthcare, but they also have opened it up for other people. So these are like drag and drop based interfaces. You can create your entire dialogue, you can create your entire error flow, error handling strategies, your disambiguation strategies, and all of the things in there, test it out. And these gives you the opportunity to quickly test out. For example, voice flow gives you the entire drag and drop interface to create your application, but they also have a very close tie with Alexa and Google Assistant. So with that, you can quickly deploy it to these devices and test it out on these devices before even submitting it for certification. So yeah, try to use VoiceFlow, Bot Society, Botmark, or Dialogflow, Alexa voice services, Alexa Skill Kit.
Okay. And then there's that. So now is a great time because we have about 7 minutes left. So let's talk about the career piece of this. So what is the difference in your mind? You know that there's still people are still very much disillusioned with the boot camp model. So the company that you've created, the program that you've created, the Digital Assistant Academy, that's more of a cohort. So what do you see as the difference between your cohort and the traditional UX boot camp?
So traditional boot camps, basically, with like based on my experience with the boot camps, what they have done is, well, they have a person. You have to take the course. They have given you the entire curriculum, and then after that, they have a mentor. In some cases, you have a mentor who's doing one-on-one with you, and then doing all of the things, right? All of those things are great. All of that we also do, right? We provide all of that, but the biggest difference is, it's like, you are given a program and you are told, do it on your own, and that's it. You've paid us money and you got it. But then it's not a vested interest. So these cohorts are not completely vested in your career or your goals or your learning or any such things. And that is the biggest difference what I see, because by the end of the course, if you look at the success ratio, well, they don't have portfolio reviews, they don't have career coaching, they don't have any such things. So what happens is, you've completed, you had a mentor, and the mentors are basically not mentoring you for the right kind of things. The mentors have been mentoring on things like, well, your button should be here or things should be here, but not like how do you present yourself or how do you present that idea, or pushing you to think further. So that was my experience with most of these boot camps. So by the end of the course, what happens is, yes, you have done a course, you have a piece of paper to prove that you have done something, but you don't have a job. And the biggest reason is, you are not prepared for that job readiness. You're not prepared for that functional skill sets, which are really important for anyone. So that is the difference. And what we have done is, we do have private Slack group. We have closed, interaction with each other. We have created a group where students can interact, they can present their ideas and stuffs to each other if needed. So we are giving them more access to each other in first place, but we also have career coaches like you, who is helping students with any kind of things, portfolio review, interview preparation, or resume building, or just the storytelling part. What I have realized is, no matter which job you are in, storytelling is very important. If you are not able to tell your story, you may be a great designer, you may be a great product manager, but you failed. And that was something my mentor told me many years back. And that got stuck into my mind so strongly that the program is completely designed based on storytelling, because I believe that it is a very important skill to have.
Yeah, it is. It is. And it's interesting because people are teaching storytelling in ways that they're still not getting it, right? And I think the way that we've come up with, much, much more helpful in that area. So another question we have are, what are the best resources to learn about, now this one was about AI. So do you want to tie it to conversational AI, or
Yeah, I mean, see,
what are your
AI is very broad. AI is very broad, right? So I would rather say conversational AI, and what resources is best to learn. Of course, if you have, the budget, and if you can afford, a course would be the best to go about it. Like Digital Assistant Academy's Voice Interaction Design course is the best way to go about it, because we will give you everything from start to finish. To understand the concept, but we also help you do the other aspects of things like networking with people and thought leadership through research papers and stuffs like that. Because I strongly believe that it's not just reading, 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 reading that you have to do in order to learn about certain things. You have to be immersed. Like, if you have to swim, they just put you in water in first place. They don't teach you first how to swim, and then they would put you in the water and they say now swim, right? They don't teach you theory first. It's the same kind of thing. You just have to be immersed in something to learn about it. So you need to get your hands dirty. So that is my way of doing or learning any new resources. There are great podcasts out there, including The Future is Spoken, which is ours, which is completely into learning and education based. So those are great resources to get the theoretical aspect of things. There are great books out there which you can look through. Kathy Pearl's book is amazing, Voice User Interface. So you can look at those kind of books as well. There are a lot of blogs and a lot of great articles out there. You can look at those as well. So you have tons and tons of resources available out there if you want to learn about it. But again, I would say these will give you a theoretical knowledge, but until and unless you get yourself immersed into it, you will not learn.
Do you have, who are the people that you follow, Shyamala? Who are like the people that you're really?
I follow Brooke Hawkins. She's an amazing conversational designer.
Brooke?
Yeah, Brooke Hawkins.
Okay.
Yeah, I follow her work, Rebecca Evanho, and then Diana Deeble. There are a lot of great conversational designers out there, to actually follow. And so they all are very active on Twitter, so you can completely
Who's,
follow them.
I didn't get Rebecca's last name. What's
Evanho.
Hoe?
Yeah.
DVAHN. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll just put that down there so people can see. Okay.
And Diana Diebel.
Diana, what's her last name?
Diebel, Diebel.
Diebel.
Yeah. And Roger Kibbe. There are a lot of people, actually, a lot of people, and they are all willing to talk with you and, share their knowledge.
Yeah. Why are you guys so well? We've got 20 seconds left. Why is this group of professionals so willing to share what they know?
The biggest reason is we all are self learners, and there was no course or nothing for us. So we are there to support each other. We are there to support others as well, because we know the kind of pain we went through, and we have a goal and vision in mind. We all share the same common goal and vision. Voice is the future, right? And the next generation of conversational designers, voice interaction designers, we want them to be the best and do the right thing and continue the legacy.
Yep, I think that's a big part of the motive behind your academy. So if people want to learn more about your academy, how do they get a hold of you?
They can either get more information at digitalassistant.academy, and if they want to personally talk with me and learn more about the academy, they can look me up at LinkedIn. My LinkedIn ID is Shyamala Prayaga. Very simple. Just search me and you'll find me.
Got it. All right. These are all in our comments so people can see them after we disconnect. Another fast 30 minutes on a Friday morning. Thank you all for joining us. Have a wonderful day. Enjoy your weekend. Shyamala, as always, a pleasure to pick your brain.
Thank you so much, Lee. Yeah.
Have a good day, everybody.